Yo, what's up gamers, KFD0 here with my take on the GSSR guide for the New Year's FGO 2023 guaranteed SSR. So what is a GSSR banner? It is a guaranteed SSR. So you can select with paid St. Quartz, and I'll get into that shortly, one of these banners to roll on, and you're guaranteed that one of the servants within that banner is going to appear. If you're super lucky, you'll get more than one, but chances are you'll get one of the guaranteed. So once you pick a particular banner and you make the roll, whoever you get's what you get, and the rest of the banners then disappear. So it's a one time with 15 paid St. Quartz. That's how it works. So for example, if you choose Red Knights 1, you're guaranteed that one of these 7 servants will appear on the roll that uses the 15 paid St. Quartz. You may get more than one, but chances are you get the one, and after that happens, you'll no longer be eligible to roll on any of the other banners, and that is it. So going through the banners, there's plenty of talk about who's on the banners and what's good for you. I can't go into exactly what is the best servants for you. Everyone's going to need something depending on the age of their account, other servants they've got, what they're missing, and their favourite servant, which trumps all else, I guess. Obviously, the less people or less servants within the banner, you're going to get a higher chance of rolling that particular servant. And the one that has the 9, you're going to have a less likely chance of rolling a particular servant that you're after. Now, first off, before going into my take on what people should or should not be doing, I guess, is first off, do you even want to roll on a GSSR? Because you do need to pay the St. Quartz. So it does talk about here, it is 15 paid St. Quartz. You can't use any of the St. Quartz gained from login bonuses from playing the game. This is actually money spent on the St. Quartz, and to do that, you do need to go into the shop and go, for example, into the buy St. Quartz and spend actual money. So the cheapest way to do this is to go and buy a pack of the 4 St. Quartz and 12 St. Quartz. These bonus St. Quartz do not count in the calculations, so one of these alone is not enough. But that is the cheapest way to go about it, and that would set you back. This is in Australian dollars, I believe, so that is going to set you back $24 roughly for a total of 23 St. Quartz with 15 of the paid ones. You get a total 16 paid St. Quartz here. 15 of them is going to be used for this GSSR roll. That is the cheapest way, and it works out with a total of 23 St. Quartz at about $1 a St. Quartz. So you have to decide if that's worthwhile for you or not. Now, generally speaking, to get a SSR servant on a rate up banner, typically people say around 300 to 400 St. Quartz is probably what you are after to get on average, fairly average luck. You should be able to get an SSR servant. If you get underneath that, you're fairly lucky, but as you can see, at 160 odd St. Quartz, you're going to need double this amount, which is closing in on $260 or $250, which is why most people say that this is, if you are willing to spend the money on it and happy to spend the money on it, and I don't encourage anyone to spend beyond their means and to spend on a game that is really just a PNG, right? So it's up to you if you feel it's worthwhile, but if you do feel it's worthwhile, it is good value for money, given that you are only spending $24 for a guaranteed SSR versus most likely needing to spend $250 for a chance, at a decent chance at getting an SSR on rate up. So although the SSR on a rate up banner, you're more likely to get that particular SSR. Spooks do happen. I've had plenty of spooks in my lifetime, but yeah, there's more chances, and you're not going one of 8 or one of 9. So, but as I said, the cheapest way to get the 15 is to buy these 2, and that works out to be $1 a St. Quartz. But if you go on here, just as an example, if you buy the most expensive pack, you're going to get 81 bonus St. Quartz. Now again, these 81 bonus don't count as paid, only the 86 does. and that works out to be about 75 cents per St. Quartz. So it's like a 25% savings to buy the most expensive pack, as you'd expect. The more you pay up in front, the more likely you're going to get a better deal. The only issue obviously of buying more St. Quartz from personal experience and having St. Quartz lying around is, unless you have a specific goal in mind within the next month or two, chances are you're going to spend it on some random banner that's come up. You'll watch some video saying how good this servant is on this rate up banner, and you go, oh yeah, I've got a few St. Quartz, and you'll just spend it. So it's up to you how good your discipline is and whatnot. Anyway, moving on from there. So that's what's needed. So if you want to roll on the GSSR, what's my take on it? Okay, now that you've decided to spend some money and get some paid St. Quartz and roll on a GSSR banner, what's the best banner to roll on? Now, as I said before, everyone's going to have different wants and needs, and there are a few ways to go about it. I'm only going to go about how you would go about choosing, or how I would go about choosing anyway. So there's a few ways that I've thought about this, and I've been thinking about it for a while now. So the first way is to say, bugger everything, go for broke, and which servants do I really want, and then pick the favourite of the lot, and don't care about any of the other servants on the banner, whether they're good, bad, how many are good, how many are bad. Just pick that one, and if you don't get that one, you probably get a bit upset, but hey, that's just what it is. You decide to go for it, and that's how it goes. So like usual, most people are going to have multiple servants they would really like. If you're lucky, you'll have multiple servants you really want on the same banner, because that makes the decision just that little bit easier. But if you've got a few, so for example up here, out of this banner, who would I really want? Do I need NP? I've already got an NP2 Octa. I don't need an NP3 Octa. So Ereshkigal probably will be a cool servant, but I'll probably prefer an NP2 Musashi over an Ereshkigal. So straight away, I already know NP2 Musashi is where I want to be. Moving down here will probably be Karma, but in reality, I'll probably prefer an NP2 Musashi again over a single copy of Karma. I've already got NP2 Berserker Musashi, and I've already got NP2 Castoria. So definitely NP2 Musashi is going to trump that. Over here on this banner, Skadi is definitely going to be very useful, but would I want a single copy of Skadi versus an NP2 Musashi? Now, Musashi is my favourite servant, so I'm definitely going to go Musashi straight away. On this one here, again, there's no one in here that I would prefer over Musashi. Coming down here is a different story. All of a sudden there's Jolta. I didn't like Jolta originally in the original story arc number 1, where she appears in Orleans, but after Shinjuku, she's slowly becoming one of my favourite servants as well. So between a copy of Jolta versus an NP2 Musashi, I don't know. So I'll leave them two for now. You move on. Do I want any of them over Jolta or Musashi? Definitely not. Over here, well, yeah, Merlin, Arjun or Altar, but again, I'll much rather a Jolta and a Musashi. And finally, again here, NP2 Doman would be nice, but again, I'll prefer a Jolta and a Musashi. So if I'm going for broke, it'll really be either this banner or this banner. But you know, I've already got a Musashi, so end of the day, I probably want a Jolta, although an NP2 Musashi is going to do so much more. But this would be the banner. If I was to go for broke, that's what I'm going to roll. Ignore everything else, go for this. If I get her, great. If I get someone else, oh, what it is. That's what I've accepted. Now, if you can't accept that, you'll have to go for a different strategy of which banner to choose. So the other method of choosing is to actually go the opposite and say what's the percentage, or the least likelihood, I should say, of getting someone you don't want at all. And this is talking about the ones that you'll get totally upset, like you've just paid good money, and if you get that servant, you're going to throw your phone against the wall, rage quit, and all that sort of stuff. Now, there's probably going to be one servant on every banner, at least, that's probably going to drive you insane if you ever picked it up. Not only you're not going to use it, you actually detest that character, you don't want it. Now, you just got to look at the percentage of that. That's the other way, so that you don't, the chance of not getting it. So for example, if I go up here, is there anyone that I got in here which would make me want to rage quit? Well, I'm not a fan of Brynhilda. only because I don't need another Lancer, but I won't rage quit over it. So this one here, you can almost say, look, I don't mind getting any of them in the sense of I'm not going to rage quit. Same with banner number 2, definitely not going to rage quit over that. Over this one here, get Ilya or Semiramis, although she's pretty cool in the anime, but either one of them I'll probably pretty upset. I probably won't use them. They're pretty useless servants in my eyes. This is my personal opinion. I know there'll be a fan out there which get really upset with me saying it, but I just don't care for either of them. I know she gets strong after an upgrade supposedly later on, but I don't care. So that's already automatically 2 out of the 8. So that's 25% chance of me, if I roll on this banner, of me wanting to throw my phone against the wall. So straight away, given that these have a 0 chance of me throwing my phone against the wall, that's already negated and you're going with them two. One of them two anyway. Over here is anyone, yes, there's plenty in this one here that I'll absolutely hate. As much as I'll love a Asgardi, but getting a Da Vinci, getting a Cleopatra, getting a Shooting Doji, and Raiko, I would absolutely want to, rage quit straight away. And that's a massive chance, right? You're talking about 4 out of 9. That's almost a 50% chance of, being very upset. Here, red extra 1 is another one where I don't need another copy of Summer Abigail. I do not like Abigail at all. I'm sorry, Abigail fans, I've mentioned this in plenty of my other videos. I ended up with MP4 Abigail trying to get Summer Tomoe. I don't need MP5 Abigail. So this one here, definitely the 2 of them, I'll be very upset with. Again, chances are slim, but better. These 2 here, definitely no chance of getting anyone that I dislike. Over here again, this banner here, there's no one that I really don't like. Oda, I don't care for, but if I got her, would I rage quit? Probably not, just because I'm a massive fan of Okita, and they seem to do, create quite a bit of hilarious moments between the 2 of them in a lot of the Gooder events. So probably won't rage quit. Not happy about getting Oda, but I'll probably won't rage quit over it. Over here, I don't need another Arthur. My first GSSR banner was all the Sabres, and it was an insane chance. It was my favourite 2 servants, Okita and Musashi. You had Rogishiki, Benny Emma, Nero Bride, Arthur, Stolfo, and Sigurds. And back then, I didn't mind Stolfo because I saw a proper crew and I liked the Stolfo, cool character. But 25% chance of getting my favourite 2 servants in them too. 25% chance of me being really upset, which was with Arthur and Sigurds, and I got Arthur, so I was very upset. So that's not happening on this banner at all. This one here, I'll be very upset with Ivan and Iskander. Over here, I don't really care for Voyager. I don't care for Shiro either. So it really leaves me, if I were to go down the path of the minimizing how upset I would be, it really would be Red Knights 1, 2, and the red extra 2. Everything else I'll get upset with. Now, narrowing it down a little bit more, I said I'll be a bit upset with Oda. Over here, upset with Brynhilda. This one here I don't mind that much, just because I don't mind Tamari Lancer. I know she's probably the weakest link here, but I don't have a Tamamo. So not Tamari, I meant Tamamo. I don't have a Tamamo, so if I already had a Tamamo caster, then I'll probably be upset getting a Tamamo Lancer. But since I don't have a Tamamo yet, I probably won't get upset with getting her as much as getting a Brynhilda or a Oda. So if I were going down the path of the least likelihood of having a rage and a meltdown from the GSSR banner, Red Knights 2 will be the one. Now, already, if you looked at the whole thing I was going about, what I really want the most and go for broke and don't care, Musashi was one of them, along with Jolta, and right now, this is already looking at the less likelihood of having him issues. Now, the other way is actually going for a mix of the two. And it's slightly different. It's not really looking at the chances. So that we're looking at the chances of being super upset and wanting to rage quit. Now we're looking at the chance of the likelihood of finding something that you're willing to accept. Now, the funny thing with what you're willing to accept and be happy with, or be not upset with, is slightly different, because now you're looking at the chances of someone that you actually like versus of absolutely wanting to rage quit. So for example, up here, as I said, I wouldn't rage quit over getting them to, but I'll be pretty upset. I don't want them. So it's very different. So if you look at a mix of this, you then look at, okay, what's the likelihood of someone that you actually don't want to get? So in this banner, for example, I won't mind Ibuki Doji. I don't need an MP3 Okuta. Don't mind it, don't need it. I don't care for Ryogashiki in this case. Well, Artoria, yeah, maybe. But Ishtar will be good, Ereshkigal will be good. So in reality, in this banner, it's only actually 3 out of the 7 that I actually care about. So you look at it that way, 3 out of 7 I'll care about. There's a few here that I don't mind, but I don't really need, and then 1 I'll be pretty upset. Not rage upset, but pretty upset. So if I looked at it that way, outside of them 3, I'm going to be upset with this banner. So that sort of negates this banner away, because you're talking about 3 out of 7 is all you're after. Okay, so in Red Knights 2, it'll be slightly different in that sense. I'll be happy with Nero Bride. Ben Emma, don't really need. Definitely happy with Musashi. Archer John's been really good. I'll be happy with Say, just because her Valentine's event was pretty awesome. Don't really need a Scarhawk. Don't really need that. So in here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 out of 7 that I like, and you're all automatically going, well, that's 4 out of 7 versus 3 out of 7. So this is already the better banner. So out of all these things we're looking at, this is already the banner that logic says that I should be rolling for. As we move down here, the characters that I like versus rage quit. Obviously, Ryder Da Vinci is awesome. I don't need an MP3 Castoria. Don't care. Karma is cool. And of course, Mysterious Heroine X. MP3 Musashi, like, I wouldn't mind MP3 Berserk Musashi. She'd do a little bit more damage, and I'd use it all the time, so it's not bad. So versus like an Okuta I don't use all the time, whereas so the MP3 of Okuta becomes a bit useless. But an MP3 Berserk Musashi I'll use all the time, so I don't mind that. So in here there'll be 1, 2, 3. So 3 out of 8. So that already is not great percentage wise compared to 3 out of 7, or 4 out of 7 in this case I should say. And as you move down, that's the way it works in deciding on the various banners what you want to do. And you need to make up your mind on, are you someone that's going to rage quit and get absolutely upset and not play the game anymore? So for me, I want to avoid the risk of getting something that I really hate, because I know I'll be upset. That's basically how I would go about it, and you need to decide, are you going to rage quit? If you are, then look at it the other way of which banner is going to be the least likelihood of actually getting someone that you will throw your phone against the wall. Alternatively, do you want your ultimate husbando, waifu, or the ultimate servant you want, and you don't care about the others, don't mind, you want to go big gambler, go for broke, then just pick the banner with the person you really want, go for it. Otherwise, like I said, you can go the other way of going, okay, what's the percentage of getting someone that you want versus the rest of it. Now, after all of that, I most likely would be rolling for Red Extra 2, because I really want a copy of Jolta. I don't, as much as I want an MP2 Musashi, I'll get another chance at MP2 Musashi, especially once she gets her upgrade later on. I'm sure she comes back on, but probably another 2 years or something. But there'll be another chance for Musashi. I'm not sure there's another chance for Jolta. So I'm going to try and go for Jolta. Over here, what also leads me to my decision as well, as much as I like Nero, Archer John is okay, not my favourite, but she's okay. She does well, I guess, in the actual game for meta-wise. And say, over here, I also like said, I'm a big Octa fan, so Octa Ultra will be cool too. So yes, I don't get Jolta. Octa Ultra will be awesome. Don't really need an MP2 Van Gogh, doesn't really add anything extra, but not the end of the world. Bunny Artoria, she's meant to be able to do some pretty cool tricks of card manipulation and whatnot, so that's alright. I've already got MP1 of both these tiaras, so an MP2 of either one isn't the end of the world, and there I go again, I've gone and clicked. So yeah, either one of them at MP2 isn't the end of the world, although I don't use them often because Zerka Masashi does so much work anyway, so it'll feel like it's a waste MP2 on them, so I wouldn't be happy, but it's not the end of the world. So Jolter is probably what I'm going to go for, so red extra 2. I can't exactly tell you which character is good or bad for your account, everyone has their own needs and wants, but I can only go through the process of how you would probably choose somebody. But anyway, I'm probably going to roll for red extra. I will do a live stream of it later on. Right now, I'm having my credit card just got compromised, so I've just had to cancel it basically yesterday. So until my new credit card comes, I can't actually partake in this because I can't actually buy any SQ at the moment. So I've gone through some other means to try and transfer some funds into it, but all that takes time. So I'm hoping I receive them sometime late next week, and then I'll roll. So once that happens, I'll probably do a live roll, most likely red extra 2. But like I said, all the logic says roll on this banner, everything's better on this banner, but I'll probably do this because I want Jolter, and I don't mind the rest of it, but that's what I want. MP2 is actually great too, but Jolter. So between now and then, if I suddenly decide to flip back into this, that's what I'll roll, but right now, it'll be Jolter. So once that happens, I'll probably live stream it, not sure when. I said I haven't got the funds into the accounts yet, that takes a bit of time, or I get my new credit card, and I can go from there. But anyway, I hope people found this helpful to some degree, and until next time, bye.